Welcome to Module 12, Role of Compliance Officers. At the end of this module, participants should be able to understand the purpose and importance of AML, CFT, CPF compliance officers within law firms, identify who may serve as a compliance officer in Nigerian legal practice, explain the statutory, professional, and institutional basis of the compliance officer's role, distinguish the compliance officer's responsibilities from those of firm partners and management, apply best practices for effective AML, CFT, CPF compliance oversight, appreciate the personal and institutional consequences of ineffective compliance management. Let us begin with the purpose of the compliance officer role. The compliance officer serves as the central control function for AML, CFT, CPF within a law firm or legal practice. This role exists to ensure firm-wide compliance with AML, CFT, CPF obligations, coordinate the implementation of policies and procedures, act as the liaison with the NBAAMLC, and promote a culture of ethical and risk-aware legal practice. It is important to note that the compliance officer is not an investigator or law enforcement agent. Instead, they are a professional risk manager, ensuring the firm operates within the boundaries of compliance. Now, let us look at the legal and professional basis for this role. Rules of Professional Conduct for Legal Practitioners 2023. The RPC explicitly supports the appointment of compliance officers by requiring firms to implement AML, CFT, CPF controls, conduct firm-level risk assessments, and maintain internal reporting and escalation mechanisms. NBAAMLC rules and protocols. The NBAAMLC expects law firms, particularly medium and large firms, to designate a compliance officer responsible for AML, CFT, CPF coordination. This aligns with FATF's Recommendation 18, which requires internal controls tailored to the legal profession. So, who can take on this role? A compliance officer may be a partner or senior associate, a designated practitioner within a sole practice, or a legally trained compliance professional working with the firm. Key requirements include adequate seniority and authority, sufficient knowledge of AML/CFT/CPF, and independence from pressure in decision-making. While external certification is not mandatory, competence in the role is essential. The compliance officer has several core responsibilities. Under policy development and maintenance, the compliance officer draft and update AML, CFT, CPF policies tailored to the firm's risk profile. Ensure these policies align with RPC 2023 and NBAAMLC guidance. Under risk assessment, the compliance officer conduct and periodically update firm-level risk assessments and identifies high-risk practice areas, clients, and transaction types. Under client due diligence oversight, ensure consistent application of CDD and EDD procedures, review high-risk client onboarding decisions, and confirm beneficial ownership identification. Under reporting and escalation, act as the focal point for internal suspicion escalation, coordinate reporting to the NBAAMLC, and maintain reporting records and audit trails. Under training and awareness, organize periodic AML, CFT, CPF training for staff and promote awareness of red flags and reporting procedures. Under record keeping and documentation, ensure retention of CDD, reports, and risk assessments for required periods. Prepare firm documentation for NBAAMLC examinations. The compliance officer plays a key advisory role. They advise partners and management on compliance risks, do not override legal judgment, but may recommend disengagement when necessary, and they must have the authority to pause transactions pending review. To function effectively, the compliance officer must be protected from retaliation or commercial pressure, be supported by firm leadership, and be able to act in good faith without fear of sanction. Compliance officers often face challenges such as resistance from fee-earning partners, limited resources in smaller firms, a lack of technological tools, and balancing confidentiality with reporting obligations. These challenges can be mitigated through proportionality and NBA guidance. When compliance functions are absent or ineffective, the risks are significant. Firms face increased exposure to AML breaches, partners may incur vicarious disciplinary liability, and compliance officers may be scrutinized for negligence or willful blindness. Finally, let's discuss best practices for compliance officers. Maintain clear written policies. Embed AML checks into onboarding workflows. Keep contemporaneous documentation. Engage proactively with NBA/AM/MMC advisories. And foster a compliance culture rather than fear-based enforcement. By following these practices, compliance officers can effectively manage risks and uphold the integrity of their firms. Finally, let's discuss best practices for compliance officers. Maintain clear written policies. Embed AML checks into onboarding workflows. Keep contemporaneous documentation. Engage proactively with NBA/AM/MMC advisories. And foster a compliance culture rather than fear-based enforcement. By following these practices, compliance officers can effectively manage risks and uphold the integrity of their firms.